going to be number 5 on here. We'll need that for minutes.
Our clock is slow. Cadillac time.
You called them all? I just wanted to make sure I started it before I forgot. 'Cause believe it or not, I've had several meetings and
I
forgot to turn it
hate
on.
that happen. All right. That's it? Okay. It's 6 p.m. I'd like to call the June 14th meeting of the Charter Township of Haring Planning Commission to order. Could we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Oh, excuse me, roll call. Susan?
Baldwin, here. Parker,
Here,
Giftis,
Here.
Hill, Grayheck.
Excused on Hill.
Grayheck.
Correct. Okay, now, stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance.
allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We are, again, this month shorthanded. We have one member who's excused, and our chair is no longer with us.
He hasn't been accepted yet.
I'm sorry, can you hear me?
It hasn't been accepted yet.
Okay. All right. Next item on the agenda is public comment. This can be public comment on any matter. Does not have to be specific to the veterans, serving veterans issue. That
we hold to the public.
that will come up later. Anybody like to make any public comments on any other subject? Okay. No public comments. Next item on the agenda, the approval of the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimously. We have 2 meeting minutes to approve. We have the meeting minutes from April 12th and the meeting minutes from May 10th. Has everybody had a chance to read those or look at them? Anybody want to take a few seconds to refresh, especially on the older one?
I move to accept the April Planning Commission meeting minutes as presented.
I'll second that.
Motion has been made by Mr. Parker, seconded by Mrs. Baldwin. Approval of the April 12th, 2016 minutes. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next to the May 10th.
I'll move to accept the May 10th minutes as presented.
I'll second it.
Okay. Mr. Parker moved to accept the May 10th minutes, seconded by Mrs. Baldwin. Everyone in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right, at this point, we actually end the,
You move to end the normal meeting and open the special hearing.
okay. Do you so move?
I move to close the regular session and open the special session at 6:03, 6:04.
I'll second that.
You have a second?
That was pretty ugly worded, but I'm sure you got the gist of it.
Well, she'll clean it up for you.
Thank God.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. All right, now we're opening up the special public hearing portion of the meeting. A rezone request, veterans serving veterans, parcels 2209-20-4102-02 through 06.
Just as for the opening comments, just if anyone, and I offer this to Mr. Van Deen, is your request, would you like to take the podium and present what it is you're intending to do here?
Is there a pen here to use to sign up?
Oh, let me give you an extra.
So this is the building they started to construct over here.
I think so. This is still the king.
That must be the building they're constructing right now. Okay.
Can you hear me, please?
Where the vault right
Roger
is.
Van Deen, ROGER VANDEEN. You ready?
I think so.
Please.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
These parcels were originally zoned forest and rec.
That exhibit one. Look on that exhibit one.
And then it was rezoned after a consultation with Mike Green to light industrial and divided up into 6 equal parcels. And the thought was that my wife and I, who purchased the property, would sell those parcels and save one for ourselves. And then I ran into Chuck Connell about 6 years ago, and he hosts a disabled veterans hunt. This year we'll have probably 225 disabled veterans over 5 days out in Marion. And I was humbled and struck by what I saw going on out there with the veterans, the healing and the reconnection and the benefit to the people that were there. And so my wife and I talked and we changed our mind. We decided that the veterans not only do they have a place to go once or twice a year to fish or to hunt, they need a special place to go every day of the year. Reconnection of our veterans, especially our combat veterans, back into society is a very difficult thing. And places we have in town like American Legion and VFW are good. However, one of the problems veterans have is with alcohol consumption. Sometimes they spiral out of control. The park is intended to be an alcohol-free zone and a place where the veterans can go and reconnect with their fellow vets, and also have the community come in and be a part of that healing process as well. The initial building I'm going to be talking about, the storage barn, which Mike Green gave us approval for a building permit, allows us to store equipment, we hope. We've given the zoning approval change to help develop the park. Phase 2 is going to be the building of a chapel. We believe that it's important that God be in the veterans' lives to help them heal. It's pretty tough to get better without the big guy by your side, in our opinion. We have a Memorial Drive, Circle Drive, you can see on the diagram there. There'll be a memorial in the center. We hope to have a Huey Red Cross helicopter from the Vietnam area in there as a special tribute to the Vietnam vets. 2 cabins along the side there that are going to be minimal, just so that the vets can come in and stay with their families. The park would be open for veterans, active duty, and their families. It would be open anytime. We also have in place plans, should the park be approved, for rezoning for a caretaker house. And we're hoping that some homeless veteran will be willing to trade a warm place to sleep and live in exchange for taking care of the grounds in the park and taking care of security out there. There's plans for a pavilion in addition to the chapel. We have blueprints drawn up for that. That pavilion is an enclosed pavilion and would entertain up to 250 people. We've also been in touch with Mike Solomon, Gib Watts from the U.S. Forestry Service and DEQ about creating a wetland that the chapel and the pavilion would overlook. And we're going through plans to make sure that we don't cause any concerns to adjacent business owners in terms of water backing and everything else, to be the proper control systems as approved by Mike Solomon, DEQ, and DNR, and U.S. Fisheries and Wildlife Service.
You have spoke with them and have permits for them?
We do not have permits yet. Right now, Mike Solomon is working with Gib Watts, and Mike has some very strict criteria, and Gib is going to put together a plan that will need to be approved by Mike Solomon and DEQ before anything's done in the area. There's been some excavation next to the overflow creek there, not to create the wetland, but to get sand for the foundation for the pole building. Yeah. The water does flow clear and nice in there in the spring and in the fall, and after the rains, it drains a tremendous, 7,600 acres between Pleasant Lake and adjacent swamps. And so that would be a nice area, hopefully for waterfowl to come in and raise their young, and for other wildlife to come in and use. That's good observed. The plans for walking trails throughout the park. It would be nice to have eventually a cross-country meet out there in the park with the local schools. It would be nice to maybe consider doing a farmer's market out there in the north side of town, which would bring business into the town as well. And so that's another way we have of connecting the veterans to the community. To date, if you include the land donation and all the trees and the building supplies and everything else, we've had well in excess of $100,000 donated. We are we're a nonprofit, we're 100%. We have zero overhead, 100% of the money goes to the vets, unlike some of the other veterans agencies and organizations out there. Nobody takes a dime. It's all done just out of the goodness of our hearts. Any questions so far from the board? I might add, like I said, one in 7 men and 1 in 13 women are veterans, and so there's a huge population of need in this community.
When you're talking community, what, Wexford County, Cadillac area?
You know,
What are we looking to service with this? I mean, I would assume any vet would be welcome.
any vet's welcome. We hope if we get the chapel done the way that we are intending it to be designed and get the memorial up the way we want, it will hopefully be a destination, especially for Vietnam vets around the country.
What kind of a radius do you hope to draw from?
Well, I think, the immediate surrounding counties for sure. We've got all those vets that they're interested in. And the veterans have done probably 90% of the work so far themselves. The park has done the different sessions for planting the trees or putting up the pole or cleaning brush or whatever. So, but yes, Wexford and Saki, Osceola, Isabel, Antrim, Grand Traverse, everybody up in this northwest corner. This would be only the second park in the entire country like this for the veterans. You hear of a lot of veterans parks and whatnot, but they're mainly memorials. They aren't someplace where you can go and be at peace with nature.
Is the intent to make this exclusively to veterans?
No.
Okay.
No, we do want to have a public presence in there because that's important for the vets to see that the public cares about them as well.
Okay.
Especially the Vietnam vets who came back from a very unpopular war to a country that blamed them for the war itself. Having been in the military during that time, I speak from my heart.
Mm-hmm. Next, if there's no questions, would be those, the next step would be those that speak
Yeah.
in support of it.
Sue, any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, could we hear from people in support of this project? Anybody would like to speak, step up, podium?
My name's Chuck Connell. I own a small pheasant preserve down by Marion. I'm not a resident here. I'm proud to call Roger a friend of mine, and we run a disabled veterans, and now we've added law enforcement into our free pheasant hunt every year. Roger became a part of that 6 years ago. We're on our 11th hunt right now, 11 years in it, and that's when he formed the group Veterans Serving Veterans, and this year they supply and serve, cook, bought a big tent to bring out to the preserve, and the Veterans Serving Veterans group, made up mainly of Vietnam veterans, is they probably served 900 or 1,000 meals in 5 days out there this year, and like he says, I think he gives too much credit to what we got going out there, because it's a short period of time, only a 5-day event. This is going to be permanent everyday use for veterans that are traveling through the Cadillac area. There's no telling how many people it can reach, and I was really surprised to understand from Roger that this is only the second one in the whole country there's memorials everywhere, and memorial, you know, like a one-block park or something like that in a lot of cities, and this is going to be every day open to the veterans' use, summer, winter, spring, and fall. With all the recreation, it'd be hard to estimate how many people are coming through the area that are veterans and people that support them. So I'd like to show support for this group, and hope that it goes through with the planning commission for you. I think it'd be really good for a lot of people, and being only 2 in the state or in the country, frankly, I don't understand why there aren't more of them, but if it's only the second one, there's no telling where people can come from that want to come to this. Might turn somebody's destination from, you know, going to one part of the country and want to come through here, so I think it's going to be very positive for the whole area and for a lot of our vets. Thank you.
How do veterans find out that this is here?
We started out, we kind of flew below the radar for a couple of years because we knew once the word got out that it would take off. 1 month ago, we had a small Facebook group of 37 people. Now it's blown to 250. So every day, veterans are joining the Facebook group, and that's a forum for telling people what the next work session is and what's going on with the park and what's the well place, and they can do that. And so that's kind of what we're using right now. We have to get good organized and eventually have a website where people can make donations and whatnot.
Sure.
If I may, sir, how large of a footprint do you use for this pheasant hunt? How much acreage is reserved for that?
Well, we just actually just leased more acreage next to us. We run on 440 acres. 440 for the. Well, we expect this year. Last year, the 10th hunt, we added all law enforcement in to show support for them and what they're going through right now, even more than they normally go through. But
is your organization part of this Veterans Serving Veterans as well? Or are you like an affiliate?
Basically an affiliate.
Okay.
Yeah, they joined us, I guess you'd say unofficially, but they're.
No, that's fine. I'm just trying to make sure I understand in my own mind.
Yeah. They're a partner in it.
Okay, thank you.
There's no pheasant hunting, it's going to take place up here in the fruit.
Well, I was gonna wonder, because there's some folks over there that might get a little bit fired up over
There's
that.
the DNR
No pun
regulations.
intended.
We have to have at least 80 acres that's already approved by the DNR, and there are a lot of regulations know that it would never go
Okay.
Yeah.
That might ruin the ambiance of the serenity of the area.
At the airport.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, yeah,
You gotta be quicker.
Let the good looking ones go first.
My name is Sheila Vanderhoof, and I have kind of become Dr. Van Dien's right-hand person with the VSV situation. Every day I open the mail, and there's another check there from someone out of the area, in the area. People are just, they hear about this, and they want to help. They want to know what they can do to get it off the ground and going. And the Facebook, like Doctor said, it's just grown leaps and bounds. And it will continue, I know that.
Just got a check for $500 from North Carolina next week.
Oh, I got a hunch that this could become something very special.
We've also.
Yeah. And I'm not really a brilliant man, and I think I could figure that one. That's a real nice thing. Anyone else?
Yeah, but she's still writing.
I'll speak while she's ready.
Gary's a Vietnam vet.
Yeah, I am a Vietnam veteran. Our community,
Your name, please?
oh, Jerry Benson, excuse me.
Benson?
Benson, B-E-N-S-O-N. 5 years ago, the Vietnam Wall was here. I don't know if you probably remember it. It wasn't in haring township, but it was a unbelievable success as far as the community meeting with the veterans, because we don't have to really talk too much about what happened when Vietnam vets came home. And I had the pleasure of speaking that one Saturday night, and there was over 300 Vietnam veterans who came forward for a final salute to the wall. And that really struck me, because I had no clue we had that many veterans even here from Vietnam. So the next year we started it was kind of a healing process for a lot of people, because since then they have come forward. Like myself, you just buried after you got home from Vietnam. And we started a Veterans Walk and Memorial Day Parade. And that has expanded to, we're in the neighborhood of 200 or so veterans who walk with us. It's an annual event, and the number of people is amazing that turns out and supports those veterans. And you will never know what that means to those guys and girls walking that has served our country. And I first heard about this park last fall, and somebody from the VA mentioned it to me, so I got together with Roger. And I've been out there since we got back from Florida. I've been out there a few times and worked out there. It's peaceful. It's just a wonderful setting for people who still are trying to readjust to the community. And when we were planting trees out there, you don't have water if you don't have electricity yet. And I mean, I went to a couple of the neighbors, and totally supportive when they hear what this thing's going to be. I mean, you're not worried about them being next door to them as a bad neighbor or whatever. And a lot of them are veterans to start with, and veterans that work with them, but they're all silent. You have no idea. You don't have a big "I am a vet" tag on it. So I can see where this can really help a whole bunch of people. And where they come from, I sent it out to, I go to a veterans reunion of our Vietnam company every year. And I sent a caption of what the park was from Cadillac News that they had it. And I got one guy from Maine, he says, "You let me know, because I can't wait to see this park." So yes, there will be people that come here for this. So obviously I'm for it, and anybody that hears about it, and your question, how do veterans find out about this? If Walmart knew how to get hold of more people, they'd do it. But it's very difficult and very expensive. And we're a nonprofit, We don't have an advertising fund. So a lot of it is, we're gonna go out to the park tonight. You wanna go? Maybe you wanna pick up some fried chicken at Meyer and go out to the park and have lunch. Nice piece, quiet setting. And you got a lot of business out here and a lot of restaurants. So I think it's gonna be a real natural, because they plan on having some picnic tables and benches and things out there where people can go out and take your family and go out and enjoy it, so. I have no other comments other than I'm 100%.
I have a question only because, and it's my fault, I should have gone out there and looked at the property, but you talked about neighbors. You talked to people when you had no water, no electricity, and you mentioned neighbors. Where are the neighbors?
It was a commercial, there's some commercial buildings right
Commercial
outside.
buildings, okay,
Yep.
On Clay Road there.
okay,
In fact, they let us use their water, no charge.
Okay.
Dan Fry's got a machine shop and accidental mail, he was a veteran.
Hi, my name is Mary Benson. This is my husband Jerry. I'm going to talk about as a perspective of a wife of a Vietnam veteran. It's amazing what good it does for these guys to get together and talk. No one else understands what they went through in Vietnam other than another vet. So this getting out, and the day we were there planting trees, we were working with several different age groups, and to blend the Vietnam veterans with those from later times, and it's just a good thing. It'll be for all ages, and I think it's just something that Cadillac needs, the state of Michigan needs. It's a good, very good thing.
Will Vanderhoof. I own England Buildings and Supplies.
I'm sorry, your name again?
Will Vanderhoof, OOF.
Will's a veteran as well.
I'm not a veteran like these guys. I was in the military for 4 years. It was a job to me. You know, thank God I never had to go anywhere and do anything bad. So, I'm amazed at how many people have stopped me, Traverse City, they've seen our, the newspaper. They say, oh, you guys are doing a great thing. I can keep going on about how good this is for the veterans. I think that's already there. I look at your guys' flag, and you are not forgotten. I mean, this is what this is all about. These people have been forgotten, and, I don't think our government does a very good job of taking care of our vets. My father-in-law, he's 89 years old, and all they want to do is give him pills. Hey, how about treating the guy? How about taking care of him, So I don't want to go on and on about how good this is. I think everybody realizes it. Now, neighbors. I can talk a little bit about neighbors. I'm a member of the Cadillac Motorcycle Club, and we welcome this group. We have people, we're fencing the whole perimeter of our property right now. We have people busting through all the time. I mean, this would be great for us. And I think we can work hand in hand with the Veterans Park. I think this will be a peaceful kind of atmosphere where the motorcycle club is more of a, loud, obnoxious kind of thing. But I'm loud and obnoxious, I guess. So, also, I think, would you guys like to see a picture of the cathedral?
for that picture?
Do you have it on your phone, I hope? If not, I'm gonna be a dead man.
I do, but it's not, file's on it's not there. But I can If you look at the Thorn Crown Chapel in the woods in Arkansas, it's an all glass chapel.
Can you say that again, please?
The Thorn Crown Chapel in Arkansas is an example of what it looks like. The trust is actually spelled out the letters needed on it.
I mean, if you guys can see a picture of that, I mean, it's something special. It's something that's gonna draw people from all over just to look at the chapel.
This is not really what, I mean, this is bigger than what the plan is for it.
I figured it was something a person could walk in.
And it's all glass walls.
It's beautiful.
It's gorgeous. Dr. Van Deen sat at his desk the other day, and I walked in there, and he's drawing on a piece of paper, and he's got this stick-like building that he's drawing on, and he's like, "Do you see that?" And I says, "Yeah." He's like, "There's the V," and he pointed out all the letters to me in this building, and it just was blown away.
And I have vendors from other states that are, you know, donating a lot of materials and things like that. I mean, this is bigger than just a township. You know, I think people are gonna come from all over. So, I think that would be positive for the whole community. So, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Jim Warren, and from Salma Township. I was a veteran with 101st Airborne.
I think the correct answer there is who?
As a 20-year-old, we were sent to kill. And we did. We killed a lot. There was zero support when we came home. I'd like to see the younger ones have a better shot.
Thank you, Jim.
Is there anybody else who would like to speak in favor? Any public comment in opposition to the request?
I'm Ty Wilson, haring Township business owner. I own about 5 acres or more adjacent to the property. I'm the owner of TNS Truck
Excuse me, when you
Service.
say adjacent, which direction?
Just to the north.
Just to the
Huh?
north.
North?
Just to the
Okay.
north on that commercial.
I'm the son of Lieutenant Colonel Paul Edward Wilson that we buried with honors in March. So I grew up a military brat. I have nothing against the veterans. I think Roger's vision and this idea is very noble. I think his heart is in the right spot, but I think the placement is wrong. I hear a lot of these guys talk about the peace and tranquility of that area, and personally, it's a commercial area. You got LC Ready Mix crushing concrete on one end. I own a heavy truck repair business. There we drive trucks in and out of that area all the way up till 11 o'clock at night, 5 days a week. My business is growing. I'm looking at possibly expanding and running 24 hours a day in that location and running air wrenches and everything out the back. I have some machinery that cleans diesel particulate filters that makes loud booms and that kind of stuff. I wouldn't want to disturb a veteran with those noises after coming back from a war situation. I also am concerned about the future of that area more so. I'm not opposed to this, but I'm worried about if I choose to expand, then with this park next to me, what opposition am I going to get to my expansion of my business because of the additional noise, additional trucks, additional whatever that might be cause them noise or the tranquility of their park. I think Roger's idea is great, but if Roger had another piece of property to donate, maybe that would be a better idea. I'm concerned that this seems a little bit like spot zoning. I'm a little perturbed that the township already granted tax exempt status on that property before the zoning was done. I don't know why that happened first.
I believe, and don't quote me to that, but I believe that's a conditional based on, but ownership, if it's owned by a tax exempt organization, it then becomes tax exempt,
Automatically.
as I understand it, but I'm not a tax expert.
Okay.
That is what
I know
I've been led to
that went
believe.
before the board.
That's what
The
I've
board
been
granted
led to believe, yes.
it. That was the cart before the horse. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
My name is Roger Walker, developer of the property to the north. We started this project many years ago with the township to get an industrial site that we could put industrial buildings in, employ people. And I'm not against the veterans. I think what they're doing is great, but I just think it's a wrong spot. This is its own for what we are doing out there. We have machine shops, we have gravel train business. There's all kinds of things going out there. We got another business that wants to go out there, and we still have more land yet to develop. Now they're getting concerned, this park's going in, so now they're saying, are we going to be restricted to doing our work if we put a crusher in? Can we crush 24 hours a day, or are we going to be able to do that? And we have spent the money, the road, the blacktop road that comes up there, Elmer's, and ourselves paid for that. We put the natural gas up there. We had a large expense to get that industrial park going. So my concern is, now we want to go on further with it, are we going to have to go, if they can say, no, there's too much noise over there, that's a concern to mine at this point right now. We have the truck driving schools in there, they have semis in and out of there all day long. That's a new business that's in there, and everybody that's in there is paying taxes, and they are hiring people. And I know this is a tax exempt piece of property that they will have, but I mean, we've had a large investment. We've spent millions of dollars back there already in buildings, in trying to employ people. So, I think the township, I come to the township before when we started this, and they were all for it. And now, when you had it rezoned light industrial, I had no problem with that. That's right along with what's going on out there. And it makes an ideal spot. I mean, we're away from everybody. and not creating any problems in the residential area. We're set back 300 some feet from any residential family out there. So, and we done that just to get along with everybody, to make it good for them and good for us. But we have, there's another 120 acres in there that we're planning on developing and putting more businesses in there. And frankly, I think there's much better locations for what they want to do. That road, I have gas tankers coming in there 24 hours a day into Crystal Flash. I got gravel trains coming into LCs. And I mean, that is an industrial, like right across the street from is heavy industrial property. It's the only piece of heavy industrial property in Haring Township. And we didn't want that type of business across the street, so that's the reason we went light industrial, just to keep it down a notch, instead of having all the stuff that goes on in heavy industrial. I mean, they certainly wouldn't want a bulk plant next door to you. So that's the gist of things. That's my feeling on it. I'm not against what they're doing. I think it's a fine. If I had a piece of property that would suit them, I'd give it to them. It was out of this area, or not out of the area, but as long as it was out of that zone. Because everything is in there right now is all light industrial. So now we're almost going backwards of what we started to do out there. We start rezoning back to forest rec, or whatever. It was commercial at one time, your property was commercial at one time, and I know that they changed it. So that's all I got to say. I just think that we got to look to the future and see what best use of what we can do with that piece of the land out there and what we got going. It's a tax. I mean, we're paying a lot of property tax out there. Every new building goes in, we're paying property tax on. And I think that's some concern of mine. We got a business next door paying no taxes, but they're using our road that we paid. The township didn't pay for the road. So, that's all I've got.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks, Roger.
I'm recording Maxwell, and I would concur with the last two gentlemen who spoke. Certainly not against the veterans, but the long-term master plan has been for that area to be light industrial. When Mr. Van Deen was here before to rezone to commercial, from commercial to light industrial, I spoke in favor of that. That seemed to be what was happening out there. And as Mr. Walker said, there's been a lot of long-term planning and investments. And I believe we need small caliber businesses, like some of those would be, some of these returning vets need employment. We probably won't have a big GM plant or Ford plant out there, but there's been numerous smaller scale businesses that employ 6 to 20 employees in a long-term range, and that's also what we need for some of these vets and everybody else is an opportunity for employment. The township has spent a great deal looking towards that direction to get utilities out to that area so that that could happen in the future, water, sewer, things like that. So I would think that that's the wrong place after all of these years of activities to put in a park. Several years ago, there was a request for a home developer who wanted to put some homes in that area. And their concern was the motorcycle club and how much noise would they make in the future, because you would be bringing in a new people that aren't used to the area, and they could be there several months before the motorcycle club kicked up and got into season, and then you'd have the noise. And the discussion at the time was, these businesses in the motorcycle club were there first, and they're allowed to make these kinds of noises. That's what it's zoned for. And if I'm been, if I understand it correct now, everything around this property is commercial or light industrial. So it's not contiguous to, right.
It does border in a couple of spots, that's
Does it?
correct, yeah.
Okay. But I would appreciate, I think given what people have done in the past, to see it stay in the light industrial. There's still be needs for that in the future, those types of businesses. Thank you.
Can I speak if I'm either against or for?
I guess we could make
Address the
that,
issue.
we could make that, put that category in here.
Okay.
Shall we call it the
You
Greg?
just want to talk because you like to talk.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
My name is Greg Payne, and I'm in Haring Township. I'm on the Board of Review for the taxes. And the decision was made because the Board of Review has no input to the zoning. The zoning is a function that works for this group and for the supervisor. And so legally, our job was to analyze, had they met the 50C requirements? And did the property belong to them as a 50C? And we were assured it did by our tax assessor. She had all the paperwork available. And that's why they were granted 501C tax. Well, if that helps anybody, I hope it does.
Thank you,
I
Greg.
do have one question, if I may, for Doctor. Do you have any intentions on expansion?
No.
How much acreage do you own out there?
We
I
have
forgot.
33.5 acres, and that site was selected as because of its proximity to the VA center.
But how many acres?
33.5.
33 and a half. And absolutely no intention to expand. Okay. And I guess it's pretty well known that Haring Township has a no spot zoning rule. So as long as y'all know, you're here asking these people to break the law of the township. But that's all I had. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Greg. Anyone else? At this point, I would like to close the public hearing for, and open up the commissioner discussions. Who wants to go first?
Well, my comment is, what we are to look at solely is zoning, and we need to look at what is allowed and what is being asked for in the zoning. And for what is allowed, we have a list. And what is presented to us is what is their plan, but that's not what we have to take into account. We have to take into account solely what is allowed in that zone. That's my comment.
I guess I don't understand what you're trying to communicate.
I don't either.
Okay, what I'm saying is they're asking for rezoning.
Yep.
So we have to look at the zoning, period. It really doesn't matter that they're saying, this is what we want to do with this zoning.
Okay.
We have to look solely at,
At the issue of changing from light industrial to forest rec.
right, and when you look at forest rec, it says we can, in forest rec, they can put in single-family dwelling, commercial forestry, including tree farms, sawmills, forest products, industries, public and private parks, outdoor recreation uses, home occupations, accessory uses and structures. Also permitted by special land use, resort motels, lodges, cottages, other tourist lodging, public and private campgrounds, hunting and fishing clubs and camps, riding stables, retail businesses, primarily for tourists and visitors, such as boat rentals, fishing equipment sales, and convenience stores, cemeteries, mobile home parks, churches and religious institutions, two-family dwellings, duplexes, state licensed residential facilities, family daycare homes, transitional shelter housings.
So this project would be allowed by right
Mhm,
if it were Forest Rec, because it's private park,
mhm,
correct?
mhm. However, all these other ones are also.
Right, also allowed.
So once we rezone it, any of these can go in, and that's what we have to focus on. Not what they say they want to do, but what is allowed. Just keep that in mind.
Then, go ahead, then I'll
Because if
ask
it's
a question.
sold, any of this can go in there.
Well, and I appreciate what we're doing with it, but I guess I have a point of order on procedure. We don't have, have either one of you received any written documentation?
No.
Okay, and with Mike absent, we don't have access to that. Now,
I've got all the comments and everything. I would.
no, what I'm saying is if somebody sent in any written objections or support,
Oh, yeah, we don't
and the
have.
thing is, he would be the one that would process that.
Well,
What
he
my
could
point
be,
is
but
with what we've taken in, we can't proceed further because we don't have access to that.
Yeah, so we really can't make a decision.
So what I'm saying is from a procedural standpoint, I don't think it's in our best interest to proceed further with Greg's position being vacant, or vacated, with
Ray, not.
Ray not here, and with Mike not here. We're not in a position to have all the information in front of us. And what I think we're gonna have to do is to deliberate this information. We're gonna have to make those arrangements to get that information and try to have Ray here to finish the process on this open hearing, or on this public hearing. I know that nobody wants to hear that because you just delay the process. And in my mind, the timeline that it's taken from what I can determine on the submission of this packet to today has been too long anyway.
Oh, I agree.
But I don't fault anybody, well, I don't fault anybody here on that.
Right.
Isn't Mike on his way?
He should be, that's what I just said, he should be here by the end of the meeting.
Yeah, but unfortunately, there's quite a bit of information Mike should have presented us prior to this meeting. And unfortunately, we don't have that. That does have a hindrance on how we can go forward. I would like to just say, and this is for the audience, however the decision comes out of this, this is gonna be a very difficult decision. And as a veteran, and as a combat veteran, I wanna commend you for what you're trying to do. I think the idea is extremely noble, and I really appreciate the civility in people expressing their opinions. Some of these meetings, when you have them, can get pretty finger pointing, and I'm just glad to see everyone here was very much above that, because I think everyone can agree that the cause is pure. And I think the township would love to have something of this nature in it. But the zoning issue becomes another concern.
Can I clear up a point?
Sure.
He was asking for the land property to be rezoned what it was 3 years ago. It was Forest Rec 3 years ago. It was
Right.
asking to go back to where it was.
No, I understand that, we understand that, but it's not that simple.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not that simple.
Part of the problem is the fact that as the master plan has it, this area is looking to become more light industrial, and so we'd actually be taking a step backwards as far as the master plan is concerned. I guess I would say that I've seen kind of similar situations, and the comment that was made about future expansion and perhaps the noise being objectionable, we had that recently. That became a real issue with the concrete crusher. And it shouldn't have been, because that was allowed in that area, but someone had built a house too close and it was bothering them. You know, I think everybody that has spoken in favor of the project. If there have been any objections, it's been the location. And I guess, ideally, if we could have our wishes come true, have you tried to find some land that someone would trade you for this, that's more secluded, that might be better suited?
One of the reasons that property was selected is because of the proximity to the VA center and the access for people coming to the park. It's only a short distance away. And so it's a green space, a peaceful place they can go, maybe after the therapy sessions, to go out there and gather their sense of emotions. So there was a method to it. Do I think that another location, from the standpoint of the neighbors, would be better? I do. Is it a better location as far as the VA center? No. That's kind of that partnership there between the two. And we haven't objected to any noise that's been out there so far. We've been out there every day of the week, and I will tell you that green space is always a good thing. It's forest right years ago, and that's all I have to say.
Well, the only thing I could add to that is that we know from past history, it's not going to get any quieter. Where I live, it's changed tremendously in 40 years. And there's no commercial or industrial there. It's just traffic. And things have changed substantially. Okay.
Well, at this point, the procedural end, because of the nature of it, do we move to suspend the public hearing
Well, we
until?
closed the public hearing at 6:47.
Yeah, public hearing's closed. This is commissioner discussion.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. So we did close that in. Do we move to postpone the rest of the discussion until Ray's in and has a chance to get brought up to speed and we can get Mike to find
Here's
out?
Mike.
Here's Mike now.
Okay. But as I said, because the information wasn't available, because it comes in now, it's not, appropriate, for lack of a better phrase.
Well, we haven't had a chance
Yeah.
to look at it. That's the drawback.
So, do we need a motion on that?
Yes.
I move that we postpone the rezoning request to a future date as soon as possible. That includes Ray and a chance to consult with Mike.
To July meeting?
I would think, or earlier. I think it needs to be earlier.
Okay.
They're owed that, I would think, based on the nature of the construction that started. But I don't know if we'll, anyway, let it go, as soon as possible.
Okay. Deliberation with full board.
But we've already held the public hearing, correct? So we don't duplicate
Right,
that.
so we're just duplicating our
Yeah.
deliberation. It's not duplicating, we have to have our deliberation.
Right.
I put down Parker table decision for deliberation with full board.
Postpone
Yeah.
to, another day, tables till later in the night,
Mhm.
and I don't envision that happening.
Okay. I second it.
Motion made by Mr. Parker, seconded by Mrs. Baldwin to postpone the rezoning to a future date as soon as
As
possible,
soon as we can schedule it.
as soon as we can schedule it.
For deliberation.
Yeah, when Ray is available and Mike is available. Correct?
It may very well have to be a weekend.
Oh, I'm available by 7 o'clock on any night of the week, so there's not an issue with that.
Well, and that would be the same thing to consider. Yeah.
All right, motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion's passed.
You made a comment earlier about money receiving mail. Have you received anything on the VSB project at all?
Mail?
Written comments or anything based on this?
No. Can I ask if you folks heard anything about the VA moving their medical facility?
What we hear?
Just moving it. I don't know, there's another place in Cadillac
They're standing,
They're staying.
they're standing.
so that's just a,
Do we want to?
okay.
Go on to the infrastructure utility. Okay, I forward infrastructure report to each of you.
Right, we're on number 11, utility update.
Folks, we're done with the special hearing on the rezoning request. I mean, for some of you, if you want to stay, you're more than welcome. But now we're going to get into the nuts and bolts of what we do in the planning commission normally. And it may not be of that much interest, just to cover on that.
That is,
And I also received, I sent out to each of the, well, I had to send it out actually, but I wrote the letter for the, each department head for our capital, that goes under capital improvement, sorry, that goes under capital.
capital improvement.
I'll wait till we get to capital improvement.
Yeah.
But I sent each your capital, your infrastructure. So.
Are we moving on to new business? Of which there is
Well, no, we're
nothing
down to the zoning board of appeals report, which I'm pretty sure we don't have one.
Yeah, we've skipped those.
Mike, do you have a administrator report other than the?
Yeah, I
Already
left
copied
it
it,
in
we
the
got
box. I left,
This one right here?
let me grab,
I got April, I don't know May.
I got it here, so.
Yeah.
yeah,
Got that.
Oh, there it is.
yeah, it's,
I guess I wonder why was this done?
oh, well, they wanted to build a building, and they can build a building,
Right.
accessory building.
That's what I thought, and that's what it
Yep.
said.
So, to give them the opportunity to at least break ground and do some work out there, we did give them basically a permit to build a shell building, with the understanding, and I was very, very clear with them that it was not to be used for the use that they're rezoning for until the rezoning is approved, so. And also that it may or may not be approved, so they understood the risks they were taking by building a building with that use in mind before it was actually approved. But, you know.
Based on our conversation last night, soon I drove out there today, where we thought they were digging in the ball drain, they were actually just pulling some dirt out of there for fill or something. It wasn't where they were, based on what I saw earlier, it looked like they were actually doing some construction.
I wanted to go out to take pictures. If
Okay.
you want to see pictures, I've got one on my computer.
So,
Anybody wants to see them?
but that way, just to verify that, because he said he has been in conversation, know what you missed, and we do have it on tape, so that hopefully you and Ray can hear it.
Okay. Yeah, good to know.
But anyway, he said he has to talk to the drain commissioner, and he's working with DEQ on what can be done with that ball drain area. And that's what I wanted to see, is if they had a permit, he said he did not.
Got me back on my car.
I have a question, just, well, if Mike is available after 7 PM to do a 7 PM.
Well, I would have said that.
Huh?
That's what I would have said.
You think that's an idea?
I think it's absolutely an idea, if I didn't know that. That was.
We didn't know he was available after 7 o'clock. All we have to do is delay our meeting from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock, and then Mike will be here.
Okay.
That was never brought up.
I pitched it to Greg a long time ago, but I don't think he ever, just kind of fell off
You pitched it to Greg a long time? This is the first I heard of it.
Yeah, as first I heard of it. too.
Yeah, it was
Let's do
tonight,
that. We can do that.
because I would say that would have been his layout decision. We could have been able to address this a lot more than,
Yeah, I told him about it way before I started working up there, because I talked to Bob about it too, and
the word I got is you wanted to move it to Thursday night. And I was like,
well, that was one idea.
that was the only thing that was brought up, was moving it to Thursday night.
Yeah. No, I also brought up the Tuesday nights at 7 o'clock. I can be here by that time, so.
It used to be
What do
7
we
o'clock.
need to change future meetings? Agreeing motion?
Yeah,
Yeah, we just changed the posting of it.
we'll do that during planning commission.
Yeah.
Or why don't we do that, we're doing planning commission, or zoning administrator right now, so how about asking us?
What's that?
Or how about asking us?
Oh, ask if you would.
I move that we move our start times to 7 PM, or 7 o'clock going
Okay.
forward.
I move that we change our meetings to 7 o'clock.
Or
You just
7:30.
did that.
Seven o'clock.
I'll second it.
7 o'clock's fine. I'll get here.
Okay.
I'll make it late night for you guys.
Motion made by Mr. Parker to change the meeting times from 6 PM to 7 PM on the same dates that they're now scheduled, seconded by Mrs. Baldwin.
You really don't do much around here, do you? You just repeat everything Sue and I do.
That's it. It's a help.
Just thought I'd bring it
Yeah.
up.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? You're not allowed to vote.
Well, thank you.
Mike, I'm sorry, I did not realize that. I was
Well,
not,
none of us did.
I think Greg's, I mean, I understand where Greg's at with things, so I don't blame him.
Okay.
I just didn't really.
I mean, I like,
But you
I like
can't
the
be
6 o'clock
long-winded,
meetings,
because
but
I'm not gonna stay.
I'd like you to be here.
Yeah.
well, it was very apparent that okay.
Okay, where are we?
Utility update.
We did that, right? You've got that from Sierra.
Right.
Yes, yes.
My question is I guess on the utility update is, what's going on with that sewer line? Have we got it moving forward yet? And if we're gonna be able to do any of it, that's,
Talk about over at 13th Street?
Are they working on it? I thought they were.
They were, but they still haven't been able to cross the property.
It's, the problem is the city, right?
Yeah,
They won't give us permission to go.
that's the last word I heard.
That's what I thought I heard this morning.
But that news always changes. New business, is that what we're doing?
Yeah. Is there any new business?
I have nothing.
Old business?
I do have something for new business that I should have thought to add.
Too late.
With Greg leaving, does anybody have anybody that they can nominate for planning commission? And be advised, my term ends next month. So
You're sticking around.
be advised, so you might be thinking of that.
Greg Payne.
Why? The board you're on doesn't have anybody on it but you now.
But we couldn't ask Anita, the name floated before was Anita, but we couldn't ask her until she's no longer in office.
Until she's no longer what?
No longer in office.
You can only have
Oh,
one
okay.
member at a time.
All right.
I can tell you that I see the work that you people do, and I'm not capable of doing that level of work anymore.
I'm not either.
You do so much, but
There is one thing, I guess, I don't know when we propose it, maybe at the planning commission member comments, I'll hold off on it till then. Okay, so, old business capital improvement planning.
Okay, I sent the letter out to all the department heads. We did receive a reply back from Sierra. I believe I gave you your copies already, right?
Hard copy
No, a hard copy?
or email?
No, well, no. Maybe I emailed it to you. I did do a hard copy.
I didn't hear you, so.
I did do a hard copy too. Oh, here it is. Sorry.
Excuse me, gentlemen, would you mind taking your conversation to the lobby? Gentlemen,
There you go.
would you mind taking that to the lobby? We're trying to set them back. Thank you.
Greg, did you want a copy? I don't know how I got so many copies.
We got a copy for Ray,
Yeah, that's what I
and you had a
did.
copy for Greg too.
Yeah, okay. And that's what he did. So we've got one back. So I guess we have to just roll that back on to next month, but we did get part of it.
Okay?
I'll send a reminder letter.
That's all you can do.
Who are we waiting to
Second
hear from?
request.
Everybody else.
The only everybody else would be the fire department and building and grounds.
And utility, or no, that would be,
Utilities, you got.
Kurt, the clerk's office,
Mike, did you receive, well, they're not gonna have capital. Bob would be the other one that handles all the other stuff. Are you gonna build, I mean, capital is something that's gonna be of a, I think the cutoff is $5,000. Isn't it? Does that sound right, Mike? I can't remember.
Don't remember.
I don't either.
I think it was $5,000.
Did you receive something from Clyde on utility lines? A couple months ago? Back in March, maybe?
It didn't come from Clyde, it might have come from Bob. Bob might have given me.
Well, from Bob, but I think it was rigid, Clyde provided it. I think that water main one on here was estimated at 365 or 370.
Could be, I don't know.
Well, and I don't think Sierra has it. So, I mean, that might be one of the things we need to look at, is just when we go and review this again. I know we're getting behind schedule because we lost a month there, but at the point of, I mean, we ought to make ought to have him here to go through and make sure that we know what he wants to